Häng på den här intensiva konversationen med Jim, eller som han också varit känd som Mr. James. Så Jim, vi träffades i Stockholm för någon vecka sedan med broder Joakim Bergman. Den här konversationen berättar han om sin tid i Främlingslegionen som fallskärmsjägare. Han berättar hur han har infiltrerat Nordkorea som en miljardär under en filmproduktion. Gjorde det under 4 år under en hemlig identitet. Sitt liv att gå från en kokainlangare till Köpenhamns jetset och byggt hela sin identitet på det och sen få sin identitet krossad genom att sitta inne. Men också vägen tillbaks, vägen till att kunna bygga en identitet av ett självvärde. Börja lita på sig själv. Sina företag han driver idag. Vi pratar också mycket om det som egentligen förde oss samman. Och det är vad ungdomar behöver. Vad unga män primärt behöver idag för att inte hamna efter. Och skillnader som vi behöver ta ansvar för att skapa. För att ge människor med olika typer av förutsättningar egentligen möjligheter att lyckas i livet. Så Jim är enormt inspirerande, enormt dedikerad. Vi pratar om rutiner och hur den här disciplinen, strukturen hjälper honom i alla områden av livet. Så ta del av den här konversationen och kolla in hans material, kolla in mullvaden och mycket mer. Så ser jag fram emot att höra era kommentarer och tankar. Välkommen till Evolution Podcast. På äventyret att skapa en total evolution av individer och kultur. Där du och jag, som medvetna och trygga män, står i service till en värld där gemenskap, nyfikenhet, skaparkraft och visdom frodas. Genom modiga möten med våra gäster bjuder vi in dig att engagera dig till att bygga en kultur av ansvarstagande, trygghet och medvetenhet. Om inte nu, när? Om inte du, vem? Jim, I got connected with you through Joakim is here. Yeah. And the conversation today, I want to dive deep. I want to get to know you, but also to see the issues that you see in the society and the journey you come from. Because you're a man, I see the strength in your eyes, I see the strength in your shoulders, in your back, and there's also very high intensity. An intensity that speaks about confidence, and confidence isn't built on wild ideas. It builds about skills and repetition over time. So I see a man, if he gets pushed, you're gonna raise up. Yeah. I don't think anything will keep you down.
No.
And I don't know you, but it's true.
Yeah, but I have not always been like that.
Uh-huh. So let's dig into this story, and also we met over the passion and the interest of like how can we make an impact for youth, kids, right?
Yeah.
And in each story, in each of the hero's journey, we've all been to a place where we only wanted to do one thing, and that's to quit and die, basically. So, and if we haven't been to this place, I don't think we can be fully alive. If we don't come to the place of death seems like a better option, and we make a choice for life, I think that's the moment we can really start living fully. So I want to hear your story about a shift and your decisions, your like the main decisions you've shared in life. So thank you very much for coming from the beautiful country in the south to join us.
Thank you.
So if you would give us like a 2-minute summary, like who are you?
Well, I'm 51 years old. I'm coming from Copenhagen, but I'm not born there. I'm born in a place called Holbæk, 60 kilometers outside. It's a small town with 30,000 people. My dad is an immigrant from Morocco, and my mom is Danish. They were both uneducated. I actually grew up in the lowest part of society. It's not because they were criminals, but they was factory owner. I have never had a chance. Like, my parents was not able to call in favors from anywhere to get me in a higher position. I have ADHD, and we live in a society today that if you don't think like the median, they will say something is wrong with you. So when I was 12 years old, I have to say my mom and dad was divorced when I was 7, so I lived alone with my mom. My ground school teacher convinced my mom it will be in everybody's best interest if I came for a boarding school for troubled kids. And I can say a lot of bad things about my parents, but I also always had food in my stomach. I always had clothes on. I went to bed on the proper time. My only problem was I couldn't shut up, and I was disturbing because that way of education didn't apply to me. So they saw me as a problem towards the median of the class. Yeah. And suddenly they put me in a place where I should never have been, because this was with kids with abuse, and I saw a whole other world I should have never been presented to.
So when you went to this boarding school, you actually saw kind of a way tougher world than you were growing up in.
Oh yeah, most definitely, yes. It was a boys' school, and this was just a place where you were until they could find another place for you. See, the problem is also here is that when a school wants you to put you in another place, they have to make a report. They have to make a report that good that the commune will throw money after it. So that is actually a report about who you are, seen with their eyes. Then they put you in this home. That home have to find another home for you, and then they've put something more in the file. And normally I can more explain it like, say, we haven't met before, and Joachim, he tells you that I'm a piece of shit. Mm-hmm. I really have to do a good impact when we meet for you not to see me like that, because you have already kind of put inception in your brain saying the guy you meet is a piece of shit. And this is actually what follow you around, and this report doesn't go in your favor at any times. Yeah.
And they don't speak about the good times, right? They don't speak about the good behaviors. You just put the worst things in there.
No, because they have to get money to put you in a new home afterwards. And when you get told all the time by your parents, by the school system, that there's something wrong with you, it really fucks up your self-esteem a lot. So
at some point, you just got to start believing it is.
It did. I mean, I hate to refer to Nietzsche, but he does actually have a point. What doesn't kill you make you stronger. Mm-hmm. And I think my only survival in all this was I started to look at the small good spot. I used the cinema to get away to when reality became too real. But it was really hard to see any light in all of this. And then I struggled with another thing, is that I have a mom that's mania-depressive. Mm-hmm. Mania-depression plus ADHD is like two negative spots at the same time, because when you have ADHD, you need structure. And when you're mania-depressive, it's the last thing you can give. And she also put all her fear, because I don't believe people are filled with fear. That's something that's putting into you. Yeah. And in my youth, I was struggling with so much fear. And I normally I say, if you're fearless, you're an idiot. But if you're controlled by your fear, that limits you, and that's a problem. So when I was 19, I joined the French Foreign Legion. I think it seems like a very hectic move, but I thought it was the only solution, because I knew that I was not able to push myself as I should be pushed. And I thought, if I go down there, it's like ripping on a bandage, do one thing for all. So I went down there.
So, and listen, you did it because you knew you would not be able to push yourself by yourself.
Yeah.
And why was that important to you push yourself?
No, because I wanted to get over this fear thing. I wanted to push my boundaries. And I thought, I mean, we also have to understand, when I made the choice, I was 19 years old. So my philosophic mindset was not that philosophic at that time. I just thought that could help me out. Yeah. It's just later on in life I could see that must have been the reason for that, for making that choice. And definitely learning the Legion how much you can push your boundary. And I think, and this is why I think we have so many weak people now, is because we live, especially in Scandinavia, in a Disney world where people are so afraid of feeling pain. And I think it's important to feel pain for being able to enjoy life. Yeah.
Embrace the pain, yeah.
Exactly.
Sure.
Push yourself way harder than you should. That's why, like, in Denmark right now, something called sauna goose is a big thing. You go in a sauna.
Sauna what?
Sauna. What you do is that you go into a sauna for 12 minutes. Mm-hmm. There's a sauna master there that put the heat up, put some music on, put some herbs on, and push the heating level around 100. Then you stay there for 12 minutes. Oof. Then you go into ice water. Then you come back, heat, put up the heat a little bit more. You do another 12 minutes.
How long in the ice water?
Oh, it depends. It depends where you are. But just this stress moment, where you stress your nerve cell, is really good mentally. Yeah. And I also do it now by running. I mean, once a year, I run for 24 hours to collect money for kids with chronic disease. It's a relay, so you run 5 kilometers, then you have 7 other run 5 kilometers, then you run again. In the end, you run 30 kilometers. Okay, yeah. But you do something good, but you also do something good for yourself because you push your boundary all the time. Yeah. And I think it's really important pushing yourself for being able to enjoy your life.
And it's like, I think it's important to go back to kind of where we come from, because we come from, thousands of years of brutal struggle. Like the way of life now, we could go here and order coffee or serve water in this podcast studio. Like life is ridiculously simple, and our ancestors, like our grandfathers, have fought to be able to put us here. And I hear you, like you weren't privileged, like so, say in Denmark, but I say like you actually had food and water. But still, like compared to the ancestors, life was really, really good. So it just comes like back to some a couple of generations where we actually can have a good life, actually have a decent life. And so I think it's really understandable that our grandparents have fought really, really hard to make life simple, right?
Yeah, and I normally refer to Matrix, if you have seen Matrix. Sure. So when Morpheus, the rebellion leader, is captured by the computer system, and one of the agents, Mr. Smith, he have a dialogue with him. He said, one time we tried to make the perfect world for the human being. They couldn't just accept it. Yeah. And I think this is the biggest problem we have right now, is too comfortable. Yeah. And that's why, because like if you're born in Denmark or Sweden or Norway, the Maslow pyramid go cling, 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 cling. Sure. I mean, the first thing they should actually say to you in school is that, put up your passport. That's your lottery ticket. You won. Yeah, yeah. This is your prize. Yeah. You actually won. Stop feeling fucking sorry for yourself and embrace how fucking lucky you are. Mm. And that's actually, I will get to that, but that's actually why I stopped studying psychology. Mm. Because at that place, I was among some of the most privileged young people in the country. And I have never seen more people feel so sorry for themselves. Yeah. And I said on another podcast in Denmark, and if it was up to me, for being able to go to university, you should prove you have lived in a third world country for at least 3 to 6 months on their terms, so you could come back and embrace what you actually have. Yeah,
like the basic attitude of life is gifted to me. Like really, life as a gift. How can I live as life in this moment? How can we like embrace this, like breathe this in, life as a gift? And how can we serve? How can we take the preciousness of that? How can we, because it steps into humility, and that's, we come into service, and like, how can I serve if it's the French legions, if it's the children in school, like then I come here as an offering. And with that comes responsibility, and responsibility is always a weight on the shoulders, but how can I carry that with responsibility? I will be crushed also for me. Like if my kids or whatever organization, I will be crushed under the weight of responsibility, and then I need the strength to rise up again. And the stronger I get, the bigger responsibilities I can commit to, and the more I will be crushed.
But I also think the thing is that we are predators. I mean, the human race is the most dangerous predators there is. This is why we have religion. Otherwise, we would go and kill each other. And our main purpose was to get food.
Yeah.
The problem is you have taken the hunting part away.
Yep.
And I think for especially men to be fulfilled, we have to find a substitute for that one, for people not to get depressed or lazy or whatnot. Because now you never think, I mean, my grandfather, it was a big thing to get food because on the Second World War, they lived without food. Yeah. Same with on both sides. And nobody here ever think about how to getting food. It's just open the refrigerator. Yep. So I think one of the elements for men is we have to replace this hunting with something else. And I think it's like to stress your nerve stiffs and push yourself. Yep. So you have this calm feeling afterwards. Yep. Because otherwise you are a person without any roots, I believe.
Yeah. And I agree, like we do a lot, like we do the initiations. Did Joachim tell you about the initiations?
Yeah.
And initiation is like, you know, it's not as a French legions, obviously, like that's way stressful, but it's like a 51-hour container, like a context where men get pushed physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, like to levels they probably haven't done. You know, you can make physical stretch, like push physically, like very fast, really, really quickly, right? Really deep. So we do these things, but people get, I would say, conturer, like the contours, right? You get like, this is my frame. I'm not here, I'm here. Like people get put into their place. They get to feel what they can do and what they can't do. And even to realize the weaknesses, the inability, that's actually really, really empowering. Because then we get, put down to the earth with our fantasy. So I agree with you, like to reconnect to the pain of the nervous system. Maybe we'll show Jim and Mabo later. That's the way we practice every morning. We have a group meeting at 5:05 every morning, and we do meditation, and that's to stretch the nervous system. And it's basically just to be a static squat we do one meditation, we do it for 20 minutes. And, you just want to give up. But so I agree with you with stretching the nervous system, but there's one component missing. And that's the component of tribe. So men have been hunting, and that's hard. Hunting or at war, right? And we can die there. Men have died at war and hunting, but it's been for the purpose of something greater. So I love the part, of the ice baths and the gym and like this stressing the body is really powerful. But if we do it for ourselves, I think we will always come at short. And I think that's also what you're symbolizing. You're doing these things, but you also have your mission. And the mission is the thing that takes us way, way further. And I think that's like, and in the mission, I need to embrace my inability. Because if I go to the gym, I embrace my inability. If I go to the sauna, I embrace my inability because after 4 minutes, I will want to get out, right? But it's the commitment to the tribe, to the people I love, if it's the family or it's the brotherhood. It's that commitment that I'm going to show up for you because you depend on me. And because I believe strongly, like we're willing to do more for each other than we're willing to do for ourselves.
I just think that I'm that element. I'm not disagree with you, but I think first it's important to love yourself.
Yeah.
When you hold yourself, then it's easier for you to love and be there for other people. Sure. Because I have some other elements as well that is important. It's important that don't put so much energy of what other people think about you. Sure. Don't be controlled by other people's thought of you, because you cannot have everybody love you.
Yeah.
And that's the key element. And when you stop thinking about that, your life will also be easier. Then you don't need a Porsche. You don't need to show your world you made it. You know it yourself.
Yeah.
Always measure all your goals, not towards others, but yourself. Mm-hmm. Of course, you should press yourself, but it's towards yourself. And when you are whole as a person, you will, of course, be a better husband, a better family man, or anything. But I think in the beginning, it's just important that you fix yourself. Yeah. And I'm not saying this in an ego way.
Yeah.
I just say that when you understand yourself perfectly, you are a way better father, way better friend, because you have killed your ego and your whole as a person.
So I love that. Let's dive into that. Like, how can we actually, three men here, continuously step into that, and how can we invite the listeners, other men, to kind of kill the ego and to start loving ourselves and measuring ourselves towards our goal? Because it's obviously one of the most common things, especially today, because we see so much social media and we have so many commercials of the men, of the people we should be. So how do we do this?
I think it's very important to have people ask themselves every time they want to do something, why do I really want to do this? Mm-hmm. Is this really because I want it, or is it because I think people would love me if I do it?
Yeah.
And it should definitely be because it's for you. And when you start this process, you will be so much more for everybody else. And the thing is, we always try, and this is because we are raised in the wrong way. We are always taught about be like everybody else. And in my mind, it's like, you should not be like everybody else. You should be as yourself. Yeah. And in that way, you will always be so much stronger in being with other people. I mean, an example, the other day I was at a party and I was wearing a kilt. Mm. And a guy, he said, why are you wearing a kilt? And my answer is, because I can. Mm. and sometimes where I have some outrageous clothes on, people say, no, it's just because you can carry it. I said, no, you could carry it too if you just believed it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when you start to have the strengths, you will not become a pushover. Yeah. You will have way more respect. Mm-hmm. And the thing people have to keep in mind, you will never, no matter what you do, no matter how much you will please people, you will never have everybody love you. Yeah. The only thing you will have is you will actually have fewer people respect you. Yeah. Because if you don't have an opinion, find out what you actually really mean about things and then stand up for it.
Yeah. I would say that this is one reason why I think we both connected at the event, because one of our core elements really this about loving yourself and don't care about what everybody else think about you. We have something called accountability partner in our Mannens Väg and also our leader group, where we every day check out with each other. We have like this mission for the day, and we put up a mission with different parts we're gonna do every day. And if we don't do it, we confront each other. Not like you're worth nothing or make a person feel like he's worthless, but confront. Because a person, we are talking a lot about responsibility. Act as a man. Because when you take responsibility for your actions, then you also will become a better husband, a better friend, a better son, a better colleague or boss or anything. So I really can relate to like everything you talk about, because we have talked about so many things recently as well. We had like this event this weekend where I met some new men that were in places in their lives where we could like both support and confront each other with different things, different areas in life. So I really feel a connection here.
No, but yeah. I agree on people need structure.
Yeah,
structure is so important, and I need it I need to know when I wake up in the morning what I should do during the day, especially when I have ADHD. Because if I don't, I will be a headless chicken running around and get even more stressed, because I will run around not be doing anything. But if I sit down and say, okay, I have to do this, and have a structure. And this is the same. I have a lot of discussion with people because I have two boys. and I run them very hard. And the thing is, what people don't understand, people are so afraid of discipline.
Yep.
But there's nothing wrong with discipline if there's love connected to it.
Sure.
So when I sit down and talk to my boys, I say, I mean, you have to understand one thing. You guys and your mom is the one I love most in the world. So why would I be a dickhead to people I love? I mean, just see me as a coach. Mm-hmm. Because the thing is also, it's important that people should live now. Mm-hmm. They should not live in the past. They should live now. You cannot change the past. You can try to do it better, but you cannot change it. I remember when I was in prison, we will get to that, but I was laying for so many days thinking about, perhaps I should have done this, and I should have done this. And at one point I was like, if I don't invent a DeLorean and can go back in time, why the fuck do I spend so much time focusing on the past? I can just think, another thing is that people are so afraid of what will happen in the future that this fear actually sometimes create what they're afraid of. Sure. So when people meet a woman, they're so afraid of she will cheat on them. Yeah. So they start putting up boundaries so that won't happen. Mm-hmm. Instead of just, you're with her now, just enjoy the fucking moment. Mm-hmm. And the problem is, all that fear you have will actually sometime be the reason why she will leave you. Yeah. Because you're not you. You're controlled by that fear.
Yeah, and you say the fear steps in, gets expressed as control, but in truth, it's a feeling. And we speak about that. We practice the practice of. I do that with my woman. It's like I didn't have that fear with her, but I have other fears, and they just speak it out. Tell her, like, I'm afraid. You don't think I'm enough. I have that fear in me. And I tell her that. And I told you, I can tell you also, I'm afraid I will not be the podcast host I need to be here. And that's a fear, and that's okay. It's like, we don't need to talk about it. It's fact. It's now. Yeah. It's really now. And then when it gets some energy here, it doesn't need to be in the future anymore.
Yeah.
You can be like, there you go. Next moment.
Yeah.
What's real?
No, but that's a dialogue.
Yeah.
It's not you putting up boundaries for her because of that fear. Yeah. Because there you can have a conversation. Is that like, what do you expect of me and stuff like that? Because I've been with my wife for 16 years. Can we put on break because this is actually a client? Sorry.
All right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So we've been together for 16 years, and I think the reason why it goes so well is because a lot of people think that the reason why, when they meet somebody, they're like, okay, now we're in a relationship, and then they continue doing each other's life. Mm-hmm. And I think that's actually where you have to start working on it. Yeah. Because what I normally say to people is like, go on a vacation 1 month with a friend. Then you at least need 2 months where you don't see each other. Mm-hmm. To go with another person and see each other every day is a huge task. Yeah. So I think one of the main focus is know all elements of each person, and you have to keep on working on it, because you hear people say, I don't know you anymore. But every time you go out of the door, you change personality just a little bit. So if you haven't seen each other only on Sundays, of course, after 10 years, you are with another person, because if you don't have an impact on each other. So I think the reason why we had such a good relationship is because we spent enormous time together. Mm-hmm. But like really working on what we feel about different situations and stuff like that. We never get to a higher argument, because normally, if you go into a critical state, it's normally because of a lot of other shit. Yeah. But if you know your partner very well, you know, I mean, I can see when she starts to be a little grumpy, she haven't been eating. Yeah. So instead of me getting angry for her saying something to me, I'm saying, time out, go and make some food for yourself. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I think being able to spend time with people close to you, but you could see if I was not 100% in balance with myself, I would not be able to see all of those steps because I would be frustrated with myself, and then I will just see the first layer that she attacks me.
You don't have the presence to see the depth.
Of course not, because then I'm not in balance.
Layers of self-doubt, judgment, self-doubt.
Exactly, and this is why I'm saying is that when you have found the balance in yourself, you will be so much better towards your surroundings, and you can how can you say it, take in their failures without that becomes a problem. So you will be able to see abroad that. See, okay, why is she saying this? It's nothing against you. It's actually coming from another place. And that can save a lot of things, because normally if other people are not where you are, they cannot see it. They cannot see where this anger comes from. Sure. But if you have that, so you can actually be able to solve problems around you. So I think we basically are agreeable on those things. But I just think it's very important that before you think so much about others, you have to find out how to figure yourself out as quick as possible, and it's not that complicated.
And one thing that I think you put out, like you said, you need structure, especially since you have ADHD. And I want to also break a myth, because I have this, I hear this over and over again, like a lot of men want to find out, I really want to get my shit together kind of thing. I really want to get into clarity. But what I hear you say is actually like you need a structure, and you're on a high level in production and focus and ability. But still what I hear you say, like if you don't have this structure, maybe it works for a day, maybe 2, maybe 3, but you're going to fall off the cliff pretty quickly. That's what I experience anyway. Like it's actually the structure that keeps the results. It's not the result. It's really like we got to start doing the footwork and continue doing the footwork. We're never going to mature away from the footwork. It's like Bruce Lee. He says, "I do not fear a man who practiced 10,000 kicks. I fear a man who's practiced one kick 10,000 times." It's like we will never get beyond that level. We want the result, but we don't. But I think that's an issue. We got to stay focused on the mundaneous task. If it's the workout, it's like it's really like the boring things.
I totally agree. The structure is so important, and I'm working on it every day. I sit down and say, how many meetings in a day can I? Because I'm a yes man. Yeah. So if you call me and say you want to go for lunch, my first thing would be, of course. Yeah. But now I have been more like, I mean, I love, as I said to Joachim, if you take the Energizer bunny, put that on steroids and give it amphetamine, and that's me. Mm-hmm. But even that have a limit. Yeah. But the thing is, I don't stop by myself. I can keep on going, and in the end, I burn out. Yeah. And then it's too late, because I cannot see it myself. So now when I know that this is it, I have to know that every time before I say yes to a lunch is that, how important is this lunch? Yeah. How many other meetings do I have today? Mm. And I have done this like 2 days a week. I'm just at home, doing no meetings, doing nothing, just getting ideas and stuff like that. So I think it's very important to understand your limit and test it out. And that is not a constant, because everything changes. How much input do you get? So you actually have to look at this perspective basically from week to week, because in new surroundings and change of settings, it might not seem a lot, but it takes a lot for your brain. And to put an example about how much it actually changed is that when I was in prison, when I changed cells, because if there was a better cell, you could ask for permission to get that. So we're talking about you're living in a hallway that's 15 meters long, and you're just changing room that's basically the same room. It took me 2 to 3 weeks before I had the same balance in my body. And you feel it there because you don't feel it here because you're stressed all the time. You feel it there because not much happening. So all feelings, you feel way stronger. But it's still a feeling that is there. So think about that one day you're in Paris, then you come home, then you have 2 other meetings, then you go to another country. That's a lot of things for your mind to understand. So you have to respect all of those changes. So,
and it's not about only like what do you need to survive. What are you speaking about is actually what do you need to actually work at a high capacity to actually be able to respect yourself and respect the people around you to create something.
It's about being true to yourself and be able to be the same person at all levels.
Yeah.
Because when you change, your surroundings will change as well.
Yeah.
So for you to be in the same state of mind and still have the same respect from others, you have to be really much aware of what kind of signals do you send out. And that you can only be if you think about where you are mentally all the time.
Powerful. So I want to go back to the French legions and like get a bit back of the backstory. So basically, before we do that, I would love to hear like the end of the story. So let's start with the end of the story and let's then go to the beginning. And the end of the story, what I want to hear is like, what world are you creating? Like, what is your mission right now? What's the thing you're working on creating for the coming, 5-10 years that you're really dedicated to?
So, I have different missions. Is right now I'm almost there. I'm working on to be. I am there. The best shape of my life, body wise, because I don't believe we use our body right. Yeah. So I'm working out every day. I'm doing meditation. I'm doing yoga, and because normally we're educated about your brain should be powerful, and then you just think the rest is like a little model carrying your head around. Yeah. But I think I want to have the whole package. Yeah. So I work out a lot to get that package. The other thing is that I think there's something really wrong with the structure we have, especially in the Western world, where we have become material addicted. Yeah. Because I think what we talked about before, this hunting, we have changed it out of spending instead of finding something else. And the problem is with material is that the happiness you get is like smoking crack. Yeah. It feels good when you get it, and straight after it's just become a thing, and then you need a new thing. Yeah. And we have actually built our whole economy of that way of thinking. Yeah. And I think that's wrong. I also think it's, and I think if we actually can make people see the thing we talk about, that will also change, because then we don't need unnecessarily shit for people to think we are good enough. It doesn't have to say Gucci on our shirt. We don't have to drive supercars. We don't have to battle who have the biggest yard and shit like that. Mm-hmm. We can actually just get the things that we basically need and be in peace with our mind. Mm-hmm. And then I want
It sounds so simple, doesn't it, Jocke? Yeah. Just be in peace with your mind. What do you say to that, Jocke? I know that's a journey for you. Like, it's a journey for all of us, I think. But that's a journey for you. Been working a lot on the peace of mind, Jocke.
Yeah. Actually, from the beginning, I really thought this spiritual thing was very like that you have to smoke weed or or do something with your brain that's not like normal. But I've been working on my personal development for like 10 years. But when I met Mattias again, like 8-9 months ago. We actually know each other like for 18 years.
We just worked around the corner from here, actually.
Yeah. I realized that I haven't been working really deep into myself, because I've always been more like, I have actually been thinking like you about the body. But I would also say that if you just work with your body, like exercising, running, you forget the brain. So I'm like the opposite there. I agree totally with you. But I have like, I realized that I have been doing everything to be good enough. I have done whatever I've done in relationships, in work. Even if I have been very successful, I have been thinking that I need to prove myself because of what other people think about me. I wouldn't say that I have like chosen the job because of what people think about me, because I have really walked my own way through life. But I have, for me, everything has become like I need to prove something. I need to prove myself in relationships. I need to prove myself in work. I need to prove myself as a son, as a brother. I need to do this. I need to do that. And we were discussing actually the thing about you want to be loved by everyone. For me, it was the truth. For me, it actually was like you can be loved by everyone, but we all know it's a fucking lie.
Yeah.
It's just some imagination about, it's illusion about getting people that you don't have to prove anything. I mean, let us agree about something. We don't need to prove anything for even our partners or friends. It's all in ourselves. So when I met Mattias again, I realized that I need to work with myself, like spiritual. I've always been a very emotional guy. People have told me like I have my emotions outside my my socks. So that wasn't anything new for me, but like spiritual with meditation and yoga and stuff like that, and also talking about being like without any boundaries when it comes to talking about how we really feel. Because we really feel that men avoid that kind of subject. We never talk about what's really like dads, for example. Dads never talk about how they feel maybe not good enough for being a dad. I think mothers do, but we never do, because we think it's like a forbidden thing to talk about. So when I really started to work more deep inside myself, spiritual and emotional, I realized that it was just an illusion to think that everybody should think of me like I should do this and that for other people. I actually now I don't care, because I realized that I don't need to prove anything. And when you feel that you don't need to prove anything, the life is totally different.
And then you're free.
Yeah, you're free.
And I think you bring it back to quite a simple question. So you want to do something. Why? It's like that's a shortcut, right?
Yeah.
It's not a simple question, because of course you have a really reasonable answer why you want to do it, that you get, but then you got to go a few levels deeper. Okay, so I want to do this because, I want to have a lunch because it's my friend. Okay, why is it your friend? Yeah, because we played soccer together or we work together. Okay, why is that important now? Like, got to go a few levels deeper, and then it's like, is this actually supporting the man I want to be? Is this making me stronger? Does it make me weaker? Does it make me show up stronger or weaker in my life and for the people I love? And these questions, like, I think it's important to ask the questions in a way that I experienced myself being built to let myself get out of it really, really easily. So the question, if it comes from an accountability body for myself, I need to dig deeper than is comfortable.
Yeah, but I mean, my wife and I, we have gone to this step that we say we just surround ourselves with people with good energy.
Yeah.
And everybody else we have cut out.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if we have known them for 30 years. If people just talk bad about other people and bring any bad energy, it takes out your energy.
Yeah.
So cut them off.
Mm-hmm.
You will be better off.
Yeah.
That's
simple.
So simple.
Yeah.
That's simple.
Yeah. And the same with the habits, right?
And yeah, because if you surround you, no matter how much you think about it. I mean, we have actually done a test at home where we say we should not bring up negative subjects. Let's try, and even if we have something bad to say, we should try to say it in a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
I know it sounds very hippie-ish, but I think it's, if you can train yourself in that way, you will start to be more happy as a person. I mean, if you surround you with people that actually just lift you up,
yeah.
I mean, words become reality.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's a word, spelling, you know, that's making, putting letters together, like stava in Swedish, but that's also making a spell. So that's the magic.
Isn't it also to like change words? Because I know that Tony Robbins, a very famous speaker, talks about must. But in Sweden, I really think we use the word must too often. I mean, I must do this, I must do that, instead of I really want that. So you mean like instead of the wife complaining about cleaning, she could say like, I would appreciate if you do this, instead of, why are you not doing this?
I'm so fortunate that my wife doesn't know how to clean, so she don't bother me by it.
Setting the standard, no idea.
Yeah, she cannot complain about something she cannot do herself.
Sure.
So
yeah, but you understand what I mean.
Yeah, 100%. Yes. But I think is that, I think people really should start to say. I mean, I think another issue is that when people get used to thing must hurt a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
they become better fighter.
Yeah.
If you become a better fighter, trust me, you will get a better job. You will not just settle.
Mm-hmm.
Because you see a lot of people also in relationship just settle.
Yeah.
Because to get the girl of their dreams is hard. It takes work.
Yeah.
To get the perfect job. I mean, the job they think needs them takes some more work.
Yeah.
But if you're used to pressure yourself, then you will not settle. And in the end, that will also make you happy. That you actually have fought for something, and you will get it.
You respect yourself.
You will respect yourself.
Yeah.
Others will respect yourself as well.
Yeah.
So this thing, like, first find out who you are, and don't give up.
Yeah.
I
hear that both for yourself and also for your marriage, that it's this continuous improvement. With your wife, it's the continuous learning. You don't think that she's the same one that you met 16 years ago. That's obvious. Like, everyone should get that. But it's actually, no, to learn, it's a practice. It's a practice to invest time. It's a practice to say, hey, how are you doing? Like, how are you really doing? What's going on in your world? It's like to bring their world into my world.
Yeah, I mean, when people see us, they see us as symbiotes.
Mm-hmm.
Because we are pretty much the same in many ways. And we're not doing this because we're pressured to, but we're actually doing it because we know each other for good and bad so much that we actually enjoy.
So it seems, is she your best teammate?
Oh yeah, definitely. She's also my best friend.
Mm-hmm. So tell me about that. Like, how And does she support you in your businesses and other projects?
She's a part of my businesses.
Okay, yeah.
She's a part of my businesses. I mean, we write books together. We have a chain of massage and physiotherapist clinic, massage and physiotherapy clinic.
Yeah.
She's a part of as well. So no, we are so much in that. I'm dyslexic, so she's doing the writing and we support each other in those ways. I mean, now we don't. I mean, we're not even thinking about it anymore.
So tell me about it, because I think that's very inspiring to hear. So tell me a bit more about how did you come to place. I hear the continuous learning, but also like it's a very intimate support there you got on. It's like she's your best teammate, your best supporter. She's actually in the team. Like, what are other key elements to create that team, more than, of course, getting to know each other and checking in and caring for each other?
I just think it's about setting up some different rules. I mean, we decided very quick that we would never go to bed not being friends. We would never in a discussion say words that you cannot take back, because we are both very strong analysts. So we know how to target people. She's highly intelligent, so we know. So we have some ground rules.
Yeah.
How to.
Do you have any more than those? I love to hear them.
Yeah, and then. Put on, because sometimes you have more energy than others. So if you want to take up an issue, at what time a day is best for the other persons, and it goes both ways, because if you come with an issue, you want me to put energy into it. So it's important when you come with an issue, when you should put it out. Because if you put it out at the wrong time, it will not have that embracement as you want. So I think it's very important to say, like, so if I have an issue, what time of day would be the best to serve that?
Set up to win,
Yeah. And I'm always like, I mean, if you have something that get on your nerve or anything, wait until we are in bed, because then my head is clear and.
So how early did you put up those rules in the relationship? Like the second date, or?
I mean, we have a not normal relationship, because we met each other when I was in prison. And when we've been together, I was in prison the first year of our relationship. And then I was released from prison. And then I was out for 8 months. And then I went to prison again for 5 years and 4 months. And she was waiting for me all the time. So I think, I also think the reason why we are so connected is because, like, I normally say if I was a racing horse, I wouldn't have bet on me. Because when I went to prison second time, I was 37 years old. I had no education. I had a child for prior marriage. And I was about to serve my second conviction of drug dealing. And if I was her, I was not even sure that I would have been waiting for me. She was 24 years old, model, studying at the university. She's really, really smart. So she had the whole life in front of her. And she said, no, I want to wait for you. But you have to promise me 2 things. You have to stop being a criminal, and you have to take education. And I said, because...
That was her terms for you.
Yes. And I really loved her. So I said, I can stop being a criminal, then I could be a garbage man or something like that. I mean, some uneducated things, but I cannot take education. I had 100% post-traumatic stress after my time in school. But she said, we have to figure it a way. I'm dyslexic. I have ADHD. So we found...
So just stop there. So she said, we have to figure out a way.
Yeah.
She doesn't say you. So she's like, you got to take education. You say you can't, and she says we got to figure out a way.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
That's a very powerful statement there.
Yeah. So we found out I'm dyslexic, but I have a good memory. So the thing was that the police hit me really hard. So I was in Danish called arresthus. I don't know what it's called. It's before you get your sentence. Yeah. You wait for your sentence. Yeah. I was there 18 months. The first 2 months in isolation. We could only see each other 1 hour a week in 6 square meters room where there was cops sitting. And the only way of communication was by letters. So I wrote her letters with misspellings, and she wrote me letters, but she also returned my letters of corrections of misspellings and so on and so forth. And then I started reading Narnia. I heard that book so many times when I was a child that even that there was word I didn't know, I understood the whole thing. And then I was allowed to have audiobooks. So what I used the audiobooks was I was sitting down and look, because I cannot spell. I can still not spell, but I remember what word looked like. So I was sitting like this, and that was how I learned how to read. That was also how I learned how to read English. So with her help, I took a full high school diploma from a prison cell, and I came out with one of the country's highest average grade point averages. I mean, we have a scale up to 12, and I had 11.7, and I was accepted to study psychology at Copenhagen University. And you have to put in mind, when we met each other, I had a lot of money. Since I was 23, I had a sports bag next to my bed, always a lot of money. And I thought, when she said, I don't need money, it's easy to say when you have money.
Sure, yeah.
But I was like terrified, because my whole self-esteem at that time, I mean, as I said, I'm coming from nothing, and I never really had any friends. I first started to get friends when when people say, who are you? I say, I'm just an insecure boy from a small village who wanted to get friends, and I got that when I started stealing cocaine. And I found out that when I had money and power and stuff of like that, people that I've never expected were my friends, people you read about in the papers and stuff like that. And I thought it had all to do with the money I made and the power I had. And so when I got to prison second time, and I promised her to stop being a criminal, that means that I had to say goodbye to all of that. Yeah. So I was totally stripped of everything I knew as being an adult. And
the way that made you significant and connected to people, cut off.
Yeah.
And like, to bring it back, like, so you were drug dealing, but still, if we look to society, for the average dude, they are a tech engineer. They sit on the computer and programming things, but for the same reasons, right? A lot of people are really successful. I talk to them basically daily. They come in, they ask for support, and they hold their identity and the self-esteem on the accomplishment that they're really not connected to. They don't really care, and it's not based on who they want to be, but because who they think they should be to get approval.
Yeah, but what the thing was, what I found out was, when I came out of prison, you have to think about a guy who, since he was, as I said, 23 years old, never had a worry in the head towards money, should come out and live on an adult welfare while he was studying. It's a big jump, and she never complained. And I found out she loved me for who I was, and that was a big thing for me. Yeah, because that made me see, perhaps you're good enough as a person. And when you reach that level, you actually reach the highest level you can, because when you find out, if I'm good enough as I am, when I started making money, because the biggest problem people do when they make money is that they live in a little flat, then they make more money, then they have to have a bigger flat, then they make more money, then they have a house, then they make more money, then they have a car and a house, then they make more money, then they have a car, a house and a boat. Then they have more money.
Yeah.
And the only thing is that no matter how much more money you do, you get more things. But the problem now is that you put more and more pressure on yourself because you have to keep that kind of money. Yeah. And that will also keep you in a job you not necessarily like, because if you change job, you have to give up the boat. You have to give up. And then you think about, what about my kids? But the kids, it's you who have put all that in your kids. Yeah. Because kids are not, because sometimes I hear people, my flat is too small. I don't know when I have kids because kids should have each their room. Says who? Says who? I mean, what do you think your child would love most? You spending all weekends with them? Or they have their own room and they only see you every second weekend? So when I came out of prison, I kept my apartment. I still have the same apartment. No matter how much money I have, I still live in this apartment because I have a bed. I actually don't need more than a bed. I have a living room where I can eat my food. And that does that now. Me and my wife, we can travel 13 times a year and enjoy ourselves. I can spend the time that I enjoy the most is with my kids and my wife. And the funny thing, if I should lose it all, you know what? I still have the same apartment. So
you speak about values basically, like because you know yourself and what your value is. This you value the quality time with your loved ones. You value the travel. You value the safety and the simplicity of you can manage and empower yourself. You know, you don't need to rely on people. You know, you can keep the apartment. That's a lot of security and ability for freedom.
Yeah, and the thing is, and this is also why, like, when we travel, is that. Why do we take this place? Is this because I want to show on Instagram I can pay for a 5-star hotel? Or is it because I really like it? I'm like, fucking 5-star hotel is the fucking most boring thing in the world. Why not just take an Airbnb? Because when you're traveling, you're again just sleeping. Yeah. So we I mean, people say, how can you afford traveling so many times? I say, first of all, we travel with nobody else traveling. We're traveling with cheap airlines. And because we don't need to show off. Yeah. And we don't, when you start not have to show everybody else how well you're doing, your life becomes cheaper and easier. And this is why I say to people, I mean, just start thinking about it. Make things simple for yourself. Then you will not get stressed. Yeah. It will be easier for you to change your job if you don't like it, because you don't have put that much pressure on yourself. Freedom is the most valuable thing you can have, also for your mindset. Yeah.
You say how to prioritize, and this thing I hear you say is to think. And I think that's one of the biggest issues that we have, a world of people not thinking because they're so much plugged into the system and stressed out and in so much survival experience of having to make all this money to do what they don't need to do. The stories are different, but right, there's so much stress. So the thinking is actually not there.
They don't have time to think.
Yeah. And they don't have the nervous system because the stress makes it's impossible to think when you're stressed out because you think the nervous system actually says that you're attacked by a tiger. So you can't think then. You shouldn't think. You should run or climb, or probably not climb, right? If it's a tiger, they can climb better. You should probably run or hide, something like that. So it's a high stress. So how can we start? It's like, because it's the chicken or the egg, right? So I get this lifestyle, but what can you say to people that really need to start contemplate and think outside the box and really start questioning to see, you know, are they living the life they want to? And the answer usually is like the first three answers there are yes, I am, because you don't afford to say no. Because saying no, you need to make it change, and that's expensive to change.
What I say is that I think everybody should make a list, like 10 things. Make a list of 10 things that makes them happy. I did that for my wife because at one point she struggled with winter depression. Mm-hmm. And I say every time you have a negative thought taking you to a dark place, look at this list. Think 10 things that makes you happy. I mean, and it's not like I like a trip to Paris. Things that you can deal on within minutes. Like I like Taylor Swift. So put on a song with her. Yeah. If you're in an apartment, go down and have a cup of coffee. Shit like that. Change of settings. Yeah. train your brain to do small change of settings.
Yeah.
When you have that, when you have a negative thought, because sometimes we have it, and a lot of, and this is why I'm talking about this positive thinking, because just sit on a cafe and listen to people's conversation. 90% talks about bad shit. And if you keep on in this talking about bad things, it's also so easy for your brain to go down on that black hole and tell yourself, oh, that would never happen. Oh, I should think about this. But if you start thinking about, I want to get away from this, start with the small things. When I have a negative thoughts, I should immediately go out of it, do something else. So getting back on track. And when you can do that, you can also do that with the stress thing. Okay, now I'm stressed, I should definitely do something else.
Yeah.
And people say, but I don't have time for it. But that's not true, because if you're stressed and have to make something finished, your stress will block for you to be creative and do that thing finished. So perhaps you need 30 minutes time out, but you will gain it instead of staying in this stress situation. Yeah. So start making those small time out. And that's a good break for you to learn to start thinking, because if you can break yourself in that negative rhythm, then you have more energy. And when you start to have more energy, more positive thoughts, and then you have also more time to think for yourself.
I love that the state changes, or the breaking the thought loops, or the state, like the energetic loops, right? So we're off. I'm very excited about hearing your different perspectives, and we jumped off. We got a bit off course, but we're just where we need to be, right?
Yeah.
Obviously. But go back on the missions, and you were sharing the mission of the self mastery, and sharing some relationship rules. But like, we gotta take care of ourselves before we step into service. And for me also, that's for me, I experienced when I experienced myself on a powerful place of self mastery, I commit to higher levels of challenge. I commit to higher levels of mission, and then the mission demands higher levels of self mastery. So it's a give and take. So like the more ambitious I am, the more I need to master myself, the better structure I need, and the better structure I have, the more stress and mission, and then it goes back as a thought loop, like as a feedback loop. So the structure and the self mastery always increases. So when we do that, and you speak about the missions and the systems, what are some other like important missions for you in your life?
My biggest mission is to change the school system.
Let's go. Let's change the school system. I love that.
No, I think this whole structure of the school system is wrong, because it's built on the wrong foundation. Because we talked about it earlier. If we created the school system today, like a new company, and I came to you for borrow money, and you will say, what is the fail rate? And I'll say, oh, it's just about between 40 and 50%. You will say, that would never happen. Yeah. But that's the school system.
And also what is the success metrics? And the success metrics are stupid, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And the thing is, the problem is, when we start at slimming to say this is the truth, we stop asking question, is it really the truth? Like I hear people say, drugs are the worst thing. But the same people will allow the kids to drink alcohol when they're 14.
Sure.
And I'm like, so because a lot of people do the same thing, does it make it right? Yeah. No. Otherwise, we should look at Germany in 1939. Yeah. And that's the same thing. So if we look at the school system as we know it today, how was that actually created? In the Dark Ages, education was mainly for the royalty, the noble, and the church. And when you start open up, it was more like, oh, now you're so fortunate you're allowed to learn. It's not like, how can we reach the people? It's just like, you're lucky to learn. And look how a classroom is built. It looked like a fucking church. The teacher's up here and look down on the hob. And there's no proof that collective education is the right way. I explained to him there's something, the biggest digital education platform is Khan Academy. And the guy who started it said, I mean, think about if we take Alexander the Great. Do you think if he had geographic in school with his teacher and he didn't understand it, and they would say, oh, he will learn later? No, they will make either that teacher make him understand, or they will find a teacher who could. And I normally say we can split it down so I can explain it really quick. We are 5 person who today start playing Super Mario. We meet again in a week. One is on level 10, one is on level 7, one is on level 5, one is on level 3, and one is still on level 1. But we will follow the median. So we will now go to level 6. That means the one-on-one, he's fucked because he have to jump so many levels to follow up. The second one, perhaps he can follow up. But what about number 7? He have to go back and play. And number 10, so we meet again after 2 weeks. The first here, they're put off. Those 2, they're on and off, but they lost the motivation. So that means that the whole school system is built to support the median. So sometimes when we look at politicians and say, how the fuck can they take a decision like that? Because they're the top of the median. They're definitely not the smartest people in the room. No, but I believe that with digital education, we can reach further out. And the thing is, we should throw so much more money after the school system, because this is where we create the minds of the people who will be in our society.
And the words are not only the minds, the morals and the ethics.
Exactly.
And the way we see, like how we value people, how we behave. Because that's also, we as parents, we delegate that to school.
But I mean, when people say we don't have money for it, I say that's an utter lie. I have cost the Danish government 20 million, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. So if we say 5 of me, that's 100 million. I'm pretty sure we can make a school or 2 for that kind of money, or a new system. And the whole thing is that I'm not saying everybody will be a criminal, of course not. But you will get depressed. You will get low self-esteem. You will make the wrong choices. All kind of things. And the thing is, kids love to learn. And we take that out of them.
And build to learn.
Exactly.
That's an achievement, to create a system where kids don't want to learn. That's really hard.
Yeah, I mean, because listen, how do we learn? Not be afraid of failure. But you get taught it's wrong to fail. I mean, there's something, and you can see it if you go to a first class and ask a question and say, do anybody understand? You will have everybody raise their hand and say no. If you go on 8th grade, only half of them will raise your hand. Go to university, you have 200 students, and I studied psychology, and I know for sure people didn't understand, and nobody raised their hand. They don't want to look like idiots. So I think we have to find a way and spend so much more money in reaching those people. And this is, I'm writing right now a book about ADHD, and me and my wife travel around the world, because instead of us, we have to create something new. I'm pretty sure there is something out there where we can say, look, we have this model there. I mean, we're going to Barcelona. There's a school for kids with ADHD and autism where they don't see them as a problem. They actually create this school as this is gifted kids with a superpower.
Like X-Men.
Exactly. And I say another thing. Let's say I'm completely wrong, because I don't think ADHD is a disease. I just think it's another way to be a human being. But let's just say it's a disease. So you have Peter here who have ADHD, and you have Paul here. Peter, you tell him he have a disease. Paul, you tell him he have a superpower. Who do you think will get best in the world? So it's all about, like I said, word becomes reality. And what I have also seen that's quite interesting, that people with ADHD who comes from we saw strong family, that's a superpower for them because they have had parents saying to the school, there's nothing wrong with him. We just need to teach him in another way. Yeah. One of my friends, he's an MD. He did his master at the same time he did his PhD. Because he had a father that said, no, nothing wrong with him. You cannot educate him. I do it myself. And so it's all about catching these people. And I think if we do that, and we have, because as I said to Joachim before, the biggest virus on the planet is stupidity.
The biggest survivor?
No, virus.
Virus, yeah.
Is stupidity. And we can change that if we create a school system that embraces everybody. Of course, there will be a little failure, but I would say we will get by if we can get it down to 10. And also is that I was in contact with a business university in Dubai. They're numbered number 1 by Forbes in Dubai and number 12 globally out of 14,000 business university. And I said, wow, with those results, people must have a really high average grade point to get in here. And he said, no, you just need $1 million. I said, but so if I come with very low, you will have to do some kind of miracle, even with $1 million, if you should change that. How do you do it? And then they say, it's easy. When people come in, we test their way to understand. And we have 3 different lines. Same curriculum, but presented in 3 different ways. I'm like, so if this is out there, why do everybody not do it?
So they teach different people in different ways?
They teach different people.
Depending where they are skill-wise or how their mind works?
How your mind works. How you understand. Because some people, they can understand by a normal classroom, but me, I cannot be in a classroom because like when I came out of prison, I thought, oh, I broke the code. Now I can study. Then I went to university and sitting in a classroom, oh no, I can still not. And I had to explain to the university that having me in a classroom doesn't work for me. They said, no, but that's the way. I said, you educate in psychology and you cannot embrace that we're not thinking the same. Can you not see the problem with that? It took me 1.5 years before they changed the rule.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, but then they changed it in the end. And I say, but doesn't it matter that I'm here? If I can do my exams and stuff like that, how can that be your problem? How can you make because I say, for forcing me to sit in a classroom 23 hours a week, burning out all my energy, because I will not learn anything out here. The only thing happens is when I'm coming home and you have to know 3,000 pages every 6 months. That's impossible for me. If I have to sit over here, because that only burns out my energy. I'm not learning anything. And it took me a lot of writing and have ADHD Foundation write them and tell how our brains works. And in the end, they changed the rules.
And how was that? How did you learn then?
How I learned? Headphones, classical music, look into a wall.
And headphones, do you have audio recordings of the classes then?
No, just the book.
The book?
Yeah.
You're reading the book while listening to music?
Yeah.
That works?
Yeah.
Awesome.
No, but the thing is, so if I need a meeting with you, I would have it in my place, on your place. If you go to a restaurant, it takes a lot of energy because, my brain is a hunter brain, right? Looking for prey. So it's like scroll. I'm using too much energy on it. And this is why in a classroom, I will hear everybody else breathing, touch the pencil, do other things. So I will very quick lose focus. But that's just, my point is I learn in another way. So if you force me down, have you ever seen this guy where you see a guy in front of a table, you have a monkey, you have an elephant, you have a giraffe, and they say, we will do an equal test for everybody. You have to climb this tree.
Yeah, I love that one.
And but that's actually how the school system is.
Yeah.
We have this way, and that makes people with lot of gift feel like idiots. Yeah. And even today, when I know my skill set, every time I have to learn something new, I have to okay, you can do it. I actually have to tell me, even that I know now that's wrong with the system, because it's so deep in my DNA. Yeah. And this is why we can change it. Because people with low self-esteem is not healthy for anybody.
Yeah, definitely. So I love the vision of the school, and I think it's acute here. We have the system doesn't build healthy individuals, and then the price of that, as you say, is very, very huge. And I want to go back to the identity. I want to go back to or start talking about the documentary and the infiltration. 4 years infiltration, yeah.
Yeah.
And one aspect of that is really that I'm really, really curious about, because being infiltrated, being under a mask, being in character for 4 years, that's intense. That's really intense. I can imagine. And then I'm really curious about the mental shift from going into character, going out of character, and not in some way being sane and being able to step out of the who are you, this kind of thing. And so the self-esteem is a major issue in Sweden for men. And one example, I got a divorce I think 6 or 8 months ago, so it's very recent. And that's, for many men, that's a depression that takes 2 years or 5 years. Because a lot of men, their identity is the husband. I think that's a very powerful identity. I like that identity. But it's the issue that when we lose an identity that isn't ours, we are not it, right? We cannot control that. That's an issue. So how do you navigate that while being undercover? So tell us a bit about, what did you do? What was the project?
Yeah, okay. So when I came out of prison, my case was a very high-profile case. A lot of reporters wanted to do my story because, as a criminal, it was a really big case, and I didn't want to do it because most of it was who were all my clients, how much money did I make, and I could have made a story, and I could have made journalists sell a lot of papers, but I would ruin the life of a lot of people, and it wouldn't change the world. Yeah. Then a guy I studied psychology with, he said, my wife is working on Danish radio. It's STV. Mm-hmm. They also have a radio station. And she would like to do the program as you want. And I thought, if we should do a change, we should rather tell why do people become criminal, but what's most interest, what does it take for people not to become criminal? Yeah. And the main issue there is that being seen. Because in Scandinavia, nobody with their hand on the heart can say they became criminal, otherwise they will die of hunger. Mm-hmm. It's founded in something totally different. Yeah. So we did that, and we won the best feature of the year. Mm. And at that radio station, I met the director of this movie. We became friends. He didn't tell me about the project, but we became friends. He invited me. He also owned a radio station. And 8 months later, he gave me a ring, and he said, have you ever heard about the Danish-North Korean Friendship Association? I said, what? Because in my mind, I thought it was really ridiculous that anybody in Denmark could think North Korean would be great. Mm-hmm. But there was. Then he told very quick that there was this former chef that was now retired due to illness, who had been undercover there for 7 years. And they had reached a level where the president of that friendship association had asked him if he knew an investor, which is, of course, illegal because all of the sanctions to North Korea. Mm. And the director here first starting looking for actors, but you can see it's a little trouble if the North Koreans see this oil billionaire one day, and another day see him playing Hamlet. So that was out of the question. Then he tried to find businessman, but no businessman in the right mind would go into a project like this. And then he was thinking about me. And at that point, I was also a bit tired of studying psychology, so I thought it as a fresh doing something else. So I first met in a presidential suite in Oslo with the president of the Friendship Association, a crazy Spain called Alejandro Caudebenos. And we had like hidden cameras and microphones. And there he told me he could supply me with any kind of weapons I was interested in. He could also help me make methamphetamine. And in my mind, I thought the documentary would be over because they had been on for 7 years. And now we have actually proven that the Friendship Association had other thoughts than just showing how good North Korea was. So I didn't give it any more thoughts. Then 6 months later, I was taking a walk in Copenhagen and I met the director and he said, "Oh, it's funny I see you." I was just on the phone with the director and we thought, couldn't it be funny to see what would happen if you actually say you want to buy some of those weapons? I said, all right. So I flew down to Madrid, had a meeting with him, said that I knew people in Yemen who could be interested in the weapons and the methamphetamine. And he said, okay, next step is for you to go to North Korea. So in January 2007, I flew down to North Korea and I met with the intelligence service. I will not, of course, spoil the whole movie, but it ends out with, we sign a contract, I become weapon agent for the North Korea, and we are looking for, because to get weapons out of North Korea is a little bit tricky, so we found out it would be best to build a weapon factory in another country. And then they come up with Uganda. So I find a private island we can buy in the Victoria Lake. And what's more, James Bond, to have a secret island in the Victoria Lake with an underground weapon factory. So we fly down to Uganda. I have a sit down with the government down there. And I'm not saying directly what I want to do, but let me say it's pretty much obvious because I say I cannot tell you what I want to use the island for, but I want 100% privacy. I want a perm so I can land Boeing 747 on the island without anybody looking what's in the plane. I mean, just saying that. And the funny thing is that I'm filming all this. This is not even with hidden cameras because when I sit with the government guys, I say, I really love what you guys are saying, but you know what? I have to present this for my board. So for us not to missing out anything, I have a camera with me. Is it okay I film it? I say, yeah, just film it. Just film it. So all of that
They're just money hungry or something.
Yeah. So it's not
whatever.
even with hidden cameras.
Yeah.
And then it goes on and on. I fly to China, smuggle surveillance equipment in and out of China. I meet with the North Korean intelligence service in China. I also fly to Jordan, because they have found, North Korean have found a guy who's willing to smuggle oil from Jordan to North Korea. So we're making a triangle system that I'm getting weapons, giving money to him, and he will get oil to them. So yeah, it was a really crazy project. And towards the thing you say, changing personality, there's a Chinese saying, the guy who lies have to have a really good memory.
Yeah.
So what I did was that I kept my personality very, very close to who I am. And that will also make it easier. And plus, like, as I said, I have ADHD, and most people in our part of the world think I'm too much. So think about how North Korean thinks. But that's also helping me because, like, you will not see an agent think and do things like I do. So I also thought that was actually my savior. In all of this.
So, who did you actually do this for? Who was the contract? Whose idea was this?
No. This was a production company.
A production company?
Yeah. So it was not a government. I mean, the government didn't even know it was happening.
They just wanted to make a film about it.
No. So the thing is, this retired chef
Yeah.
Because the director have already earlier done a movie about North Korea, and he cannot go back to North Korea. So this chef, who's retired, he said, couldn't it be interesting if I went undercover in this friendship association? So the director says to him, you can do it, but it's a pathetic crowd. It's like former communists, alcoholics, and there's not much to come for. But of course, if you have any kind of international flavor, let's see. I cannot pay you anything, but let's see where it takes us. And I mean, he stayed there until there was just a little bit. He actually stayed there from 9 until he stayed there for 4 years before anything happened. That's a long time. It's a really long time.
Patience, yeah.
Yeah.
Intense. And now, I haven't even seen this. The movie's called The Mole.
The Mole infiltrated North Korea. It's on STV, so people in Sweden can just plug in and see it.
Let's do it. I'm super excited about that. So the character is like, you stayed close to the character. So how is like I can imagine a high stress environment, like actually being with kind of big people with a lot of power, talking about weapons. Like it sounds quite intense. How was that for you?
So I've been playing with something a lot, because when I was taught to write, the first period of time I read children's book, then I read youth book, then I started reading history because I needed a lot of knowledge that I didn't have before. Then I started reading psychology, and I became really keen with a sociologist called Pierre Bourdieu. Pierre Bourdieu, he talks about how he split society up in 4 boxes. So one box is called culture and capital. Culture and capital is like, if you're an artist, if you're a professor, it doesn't matter how much money you have, it's just the artistic way that will put you on social capital. Social capital is the social rank you have in society.
Yep.
So, and then you have economic capital, and that's actually how much money you have, and that will also put you on the level of society. So those 3 boxes is pretty much constant, right? But then he works with the 4th one, and that's the interested one. It's called symbolic capital. Symbolic capital is really interesting because symbolic capital is a really big variable. So if you go to Goldman Sachs and meet the CEO there, he's pretty much God, right? In that environment. You cannot push him anywhere. But if you take him down to a yoga spot, you take all that power away from him because he's in a context, he's in you. But that's actually telling you that people are only who they are due to what the surrounding allow them to. But you can also control that. So if you take that and mix it up with the first matrix, that ones and zeros, like everybody is ones and zeros. So when you know this, when you know all of this, taking people out of the setting and can work with that, that means actually you can create your own identity. And if you believe it enough, you will have everybody else believing it. Because like when you enter a room, you decide yourself how to enter that room. And so it's like how you dress up, how you talk to people, how you act, how you look. But you can work with that because people will only see what you present to them. And actually, I've said that to my wife, because I said to my wife, when you understand how clever you are, one time you will rule the world. Because she actually needs that confidence. But when people know this, is that everybody is just ones and zeros, and you will only have power over me if I allow it. So you can talk to me in a certain way to start with, like showing you want to take control over the situation. But you can only do that as long as I give in. I have to give in to that. And of course, somebody will meet you because they have so much belief in themselves. But it's all a game.
I love that. Like, so how can we? So I get it. Like, it's just what we believe. But like in there is a saying that I really like. It's in theory and practice are the same. But in practice, it's not.
Oh, no, of course not.
So how do we do that?
No. I mean, and first of all, you cannot do it with people because you can never change the first impression. So to train this, You have to do it with people who don't know you, because people who know you, you're already put into a frame. To change that frame is a bit, this is why you say you can never change the first impression. So when people already have an idea who you are, it takes long time for them to change that view. Yeah. So to try to explore this little experiment, if you will, you have to do it in a place where you don't know anybody. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Try to go into a place where people don't know you and try to take control over that situation. Mm-hmm. Let them believe that you are something you're not necessarily not. Mm-hmm. Look at them, talk to them, try to take control over the situation. And it works. It works, and it's all about believing yourself. Because when you believe yourself, and the thing is, if people can see that you don't need anything, that's actually the strongest thing. If you're not for sale, that's the strongest thing, because then you will not be manipulated on things. It's like, okay, but perhaps I'm doing it too much. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
I'm doing it because I am.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
because you can.
And that's because this is the man I choose to be. This is what I value. This is what I care about. And if you don't like it, as you said.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, and people think I have to be arrogant. No, you don't. Mm-hmm. Because you can come in with that attitude and smile, and that actually is way more powerful. Mm-hmm. Because everybody can look like an ass in the face and have like this stone face. Mm. But if you come in and smile and look people directly in the eyes, it's way more powerful. Mm-hmm. And people totally misunderstand that you actually know who you are, and you have so much energy that you just smile. Mm-hmm. And even whatever people come with, you just keep their eye contact and still smiling. Mm-hmm. And that can actually neutralize the room.
Yeah. Beautiful.
I have always done that, actually, when I enter a room or when I go to the gym. I actually always start with like a really big high, smiling, like I don't care if I scare the shit out of them because they always smile. When I turned 40, I think a lot of people said the same thing when they held speeches. You always light up a room. It's like watching a black and white movie going colorful. And I haven't ever like thought about it, because for me it's like automatically, because I always think when I even if I don't know the people, I think that I can make the best out of every situation. Like if I'm smiling, if I'm entering a room with a smile and a positive attitude, then most of the people, they will. I know you get what you attract, right?
Yeah, but also what you do is actually you change the room. You actually change the room, so the room is nothing just about taking control. It's about you change the room for the better. Yeah. Because they will react on it. I mean, I started in the gym it's like we are in a room, we come in a place, we come here every fucking day for 10 years, and we don't know each other. Mm-hmm. So I'm starting to say good morning to people. Yeah. And even when people have headphones on, I say good morning. People take them off and say good morning. Mm-hmm. And now I have started to be too much, because now people also want to chat, and then it goes out of my training. That was not the idea. No, but my whole thing is that it starts to, like, we are in a place. Why are we not communicating?
Because there are too much ego in the society, right? People don't care about each other. Because I started many years ago, even when I went to grocery store, to ask how you're doing. At first, some of them were like, "Oh, are you talking to me?" Yeah, because they're used to people talking in the phone, right? So, I mean, do things like show people that you care about them. I've always learned that when you're coaching people or selling things, love your client. But if you're acting that way with every person you meet, you will get not only the respect, you will also get the energy, because you talked about that you and your wife, you have like cut everything with people that drain your energy, right? But you can also choose if you want energy in your life, because if you step into a room full of people and you go like this, my life sucks. I mean, you won't change anything. But if you enter a room like dancing or
dancing, that's just an example. It's actually how Jocke is entering a room, right?
Yeah.
But it's about setting the standard. So it's about going back to questions, what do I want? So I want to touch back on that, because we're building or experimenting, I would say, with the assumption that, like, if you create a foundational lifestyle, everything else will fall into place. And that's not meaning being perfect, because life is not, but you will have the ability and the strength to attack being with difficult situations and being able to create results. So I want to go back to like the ability, because you go up at 4. I know that you told me that, and you work out for 2 hours a day. It's like the ability to do those things. That's a high level. So how do you get to that level? How do people listening to this, how can they figure out and pull out actually how to set their standard when they're walking into the room, but also how to build the man, like, or extract the man? It's not about, I don't think it's about building, it's actually about realizing who you're meant to be. So how do you build yourself? How do you step from where you were like 10 years ago to the man sitting here?
I mean, first of all, people have to understand that I was a very insecure boy when I was a kid. So it's like, first of all, is that never be afraid of learning. I mean, I spend so much time trying to meet people who's not thinking as I'm thinking, because I pretty sure I don't have the answer for anything, for everything. And so I'm really keen to meet people who see things in another way, to learn all the things. I mean, and
that's the opposite of most people. They just want to be with people that agree, right?
And the thing is, the biggest problem you see, I think the biggest failure a lot of really intelligent people have is when they stop criticizing themselves, because nobody is perfect, and if you're thinking just because you have success with a company and stuff like that you have the answer, then you will start making mistakes. Always look at yourself and look at analyze yourself all the time. I think that's really important. And as we said about before, structure. I think the reason why training, because a lot of people say 2 hours a day, that sounds totally ridiculous. I don't have the time. As I said to Joachim earlier when we had lunch, it's like I see it the opposite, because those 2 hours will on the long term give you so much more. It will give you more energy. Your body will stay on for longer time. You will be more creative and stuff like that. And when I work out, I'm thinking. It's like my way of meditation in the morning. Like, what should I do throughout the day? How should I handle it? And I can do that. I mean, I normally train to Mozart when I work out, because it makes me able to think. So it's like a routine where I find myself. And the thing is, we have to understand is that we don't use our body as it's meant to be. We should not sit down so much. So we actually have to, and especially when you're over 40, you have to use your body. Because at one point, I mean, and you have to think about when your nerve system is start to fuck, then you are in pain, then you're in agony, and then you will not have so much energy to anything else. So it's really, really important. I think it's a must. If you should be happy and stuff like that, as a male over 35, you have to train a little bit every day. And the thing is, but if people sit out there and say, it sounds impossible, I will give you a little cheat code. If you force yourself to do the same thing every day for 40 days, it will become a routine. And that helps me a lot. Every time I start on something I think is fucking rubbish or horrible, I know I should just force myself for 40 days, because then I stop thinking about how fucking shit it is. And it's not because like I'm a trainee fanatic. I just know I need to do this. So 40 days, push yourself towards it. And the thing is, it doesn't have to be like very hard. Just start going down to the gym. And today, I mean, if you don't know how to train, hire a personal trainer, but you don't need a personal trainer for the rest of your life.
Sure, yeah.
Have them for a month, once a week, and use training apps. It's quite easy. And if you find a gym with machines, you cannot fuck it 100% up. Right now, it's just a routine, and then you will be able to build it up. It's not that difficult.
Learning over time, yeah.
Exactly.
But I love that mindset, because so we have the stressed mindset, saying like I don't have time, and what you're saying is the opposite. I know there's some dude called, I think it's Brian Johnson. He's the one that's he doesn't want to die ever, and he's trying to live forever. And every year he lives for I think 0.6 years. So he actually doesn't age. He ages at 60% rate, right? So and he sleeps 8 hours a day, and his statement is that his most important meeting of the day is his bedtime. It's not for me. It's not, I gotta step that game up right now, but the outcome of that is huge, right? If he ages 0.6 times, he gets 40% more years, and energy, and has vitality also, right? So that's a big shift from say scarcity, because that's on the other side. I don't have time. Doesn't mean time is scarce, and you come from a place of time being abundant, of you producing your own energy, so energy is abundant.
Yeah, but the thing is, people don't spend enough time on what's good for them.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, people with cars, people without thinking about it, buy a car between 200,000 and 1 million. And how long time can they have it before they change? Maximum 5 years, then they change cars again. How many people do you know who have a bed that costs more than 100,000? Not many. And that's crazy, because you spent the third of your life in your bed.
Yeah, yeah.
And people have to think about all those things. If your body doesn't work, you're just here on loan time.
Yeah.
And at one point, you will get a bill. You will get a bill for not doing what I'm telling now.
Yeah.
And then it's too late. Because when your muscle system stop function, it's too late starting. I mean, you have to start now, and you will be happy for it.
I'm my personal experience. I've been working out a lot for like basically ever, and over the past I think 5 years I've been working out maybe 5 days a week or something like that. Not, and for some periods 7, but for me the shift that I see when I make a jump, when I make a leap in my life, is when I go from the normal training to training that's really painful. So when I go from the pain threshold for maybe 60, 75%, something like that, and I step it up 20%, so I'm at the 80, 90, 95% of real like pain, really the struggle, then that's the leap, and when I'm there, I see everything in my life changing. So and for me, it's really about pushing myself through the pain. And the man I become, the mindset I do, just by pushing that limit.
But that's also why you change training program after every 3 months. So you stress your muscles.
Yeah.
So it doesn't become a routine.
Yeah, that's the thing as well. I mean, you should train as often to failure, or as close you can into failure, because otherwise you won't make any progression. And I would say that maybe 70 or 80% of people at the gym, they look the same now as they did 10 years ago, because I would also say, I would add that it's also important that you exercise the right way, because even if you're not, don't get injured, you also need to think how to work out. And I think that a lot of, just look at the influencers on Instagram, many of the personal trainers on Instagram, they don't even work out the right way. they do it the wrong way, and if you do every exercise the wrong way, then it's not any use to go to the gym either.
No, but this is why I say, like, take a personal trainer and start with the machine.
Yeah.
I mean, wait with the loose weight, and actually, yeah, this is no secret. There's a way that you can start really good. It's like one muscle group a day. It's 5 days a week. Yeah. You take one muscle group, you do 10 different exercises, 4 set, 20 repetition, low weight. Because when you have the low weight, you move your body right. You can actually feel you're doing right. Because when you pressure, you do like this. When you have done this for 3 months, you have created contact to all the small muscle fibers, and then it's easier to step it up.
Awesome start. Love that. Yeah. So let's go to the place like, okay, we are this, we own ourselves. We got our shit together on a basic level. We respect ourselves. And then we step into the mission. So let's see, because we are here, we're connected actually because we are dedicated, all the 3 of us, to making an impact for the youth. So I hear the mission of the school system and the mission of supporting kids with ADHD or having creating a system where kids can learn in different ways, right? Where we're coming from is to see like the boys are in trouble. Like in Sweden, boys, it's a mess because girls are getting better and better grades and boys are getting way lower. They are like in your Super Mario example, they're the 2 lowest. And we see also cultural issues of lack of trust in self, lack of trust in community. You know, there's bullying, there are all these kind of issues. And I want to hear from you. What do you see like boys in general needing to, what are the needs of boys? You have boys yourself. How can we as adults, as men, how can we support boys in school but also out of school? What do you think? You spoke about discipline before.
Yes, discipline and structure.
Yeah.
And really structure. And I saw it in the Legion. I saw something that worked. It was quite interesting because there you take 50 young boys, and that's actually with totally different backgrounds and totally different cultures. Mm-hmm. You put them in a farm where they sleep 25 bunk beds. In this side, 25 bunk beds on this side. In front of your bed, a closet. And from 5 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock, there's a tight schedule. And after 1 month, everybody goes in that same direction. And I think you can take that structure and use it anywhere. So this is like, if we could make a tryout, of course, we have to make sure the kids are volunteer, because otherwise it won't work. I mean, we have a saying in Denmark that you can pull a horse to where it drinks, but you cannot force it to drink. So we have to meet these young people and say, listen, we understand the trouble you're in. We actually want to help you, but this is what's going to happen. And they volunteer for it. And then I'm pretty sure, but we have to have a whole schedule, because and this is what quite important is that, what's it called? Environment.
Yep.
Means a lot.
Always wins, yeah.
And there was something really interesting about that, because, you know, when Katrina fucked up New Orleans, when people from prison afterwards was let out, the crime rate fall. Do you know why? Because the environment was not there anymore. Mm-hmm. But that's quite interesting.
Yeah.
So if we should have a project like that actually flew, it should be that people start there. In this month where we have them there, we have to find out what are their ability. Mm-hmm. Then we have to have a phase 2. That would be a school system or something where we help them to change their goals. Yeah. And then we have to have a third spot, and that third spot should be as long away from their normal environment as possible. And then we will receive the goal. Because like putting people back in their environment, I think that's, in some cases, yes, but in most cases, no, then you go back to your old routine, and then it will be forth and back. So I think in that way we could have a high success rate.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a big issue. Like, we're working on the both sides. We're working with the men. Who do we need to be as men? Who do we need to be as fathers? How do we need to behave to be? And I think that one of the core things you speak about structure and discipline. I think men of principle, and you've been touching on that as well.
Yeah.
It's like man of principle is rare these days. A man of principle says no to success because he chooses the right thing. That's really, really hard. But so for me, it's like, how can we create a society? I think this is the key. How can we create a society? How can we make cultural shift as men to instill that in the boys? But the issue then is the you spoke about it before, like the drugs and the fame and the feeling awesome, right? In the self-esteem being built on the success. That's what these young boys see today. That's what a lot of them wanna do or become.
But we have to talk to them about what is success.
Yeah.
Because right now they have the wrong dream.
Yeah.
And I see it like, and young people, because you have like all those YouTube videos about like, oh, how easy it is to be a millionaire.
Yeah.
It's not easy to become a millionaire. So it's about like having this dream, about finding out what the dream is, and tell them about this dream if this is really what they want, and like have a chat with them. It's like, so why do you think this will happen when you have a Porsche?
Yeah.
So you have a Porsche now. So what do you think will happen? Why do you think that will make you happy? And like, I think when you start making people explain these things, it will start to realize that not anything happening except you have some metal on rubber wheels, but it would not change your life for anything else. So it's like, have this conversation saying, okay, this is your dream, but explain to me why it's your dream. Well, I mean, because the thing is, for many years ago, we lost being philosophical because we got lost in this whole hamster wheel.
Yep.
Is that, okay, we need to do this, we need to do this. We stopped asking why. And a lot of people say, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I want to rather ask another question. How do you see the last 10 years of your life? You can see there's a big difference. Is how do you want to become old? How do you see that? We don't even think about being old because then we are not a part of the machine anymore. It's not interested for society. When you're old, when you have ADHD, when you are handicapped, we cannot use you. And the way we are creating is like what Hitler, he said, human supermensch. We're creating a productive guy who doesn't ask too much questions. And
that's a Victor Matrix, right?
Yeah. I mean, we have to make people understand, like push them, say, okay, tell me what you want, and then break it down and say, why do you want that? Why do we want this? Why do we want this? Why do we want this? Because I'm pretty sure 90% don't even know. It's just like this carrot we have given people for work harder. Because as I said before, our society is built financially of people just buying shit. It's like people's new crack.
I think there are studies that men find their purpose in their 40s, 45, or between 45 or 50. But I think the reason why is because they don't even think about it in their youth. I mean, maybe you should.
It's a mid-age crisis. That's a typical thing. Like in the 40s, men have a mid-age crisis, and the shift there is it's called in some way of philosophy, going from the prince to the king. And the prince from the king is the prince builds the kingdom, but then he realizes, shit, I didn't want this kingdom. This was my dad's dream. It wasn't my dream. Or it can be, whoever, politician. And that's the shift with the mid-age crisis. Because there you go into the tunnel and the darkness and you realize one thing. Oh, shit. what do I want?
Regarding
What do I believe?
Regarding shit, the coffee started working, so I will quick go to the toilet.
Uh-huh. Yes. On again. Yeah, so I love that idea because you were talking about how to shift the vision or let's shift the goal. And for me, I think it's easy. Like if we're like this, you talk to someone, it's easy to make a shift. You just gotta ask a reasonable question, and the whole life can change. But then the question: how do we get there? If we see like hundreds or thousands or millions of kids, and we have the same amount of adult men, how do we inspire a shift, and how do we create a meeting, a platform of engagement? Like this is one, right? We will have a bunch of listeners seeing a conversation like, okay, I'm going to start thinking now. I'm going to start working out 2 hours a day or whatever they decide to do. Like they're going to find their own truth. But how do we create a meeting where we can have these conversations? What are your thoughts there?
With the kids?
Mm-hmm.
I think for everybody to change is like a strong relation. And I think for a lot of the kids just need somebody that they can rely on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it doesn't take that much. It's all about confidence, that they will be heard and they have somebody who believes them.
It cares about them, right?
Yeah, exactly, and can make them understand. And that's what I talked to Joachim about, is that when we get these young kids in, let's just work on finding out through conversation, what are they good at? Find that. It doesn't matter if it's drawing, it's running, it doesn't have to be anything educational. We will find out what they're good at, and then we will support that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because we need them to feel as a success.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And when we have created that thing, and perhaps it takes that they don't go to school for a month, but fuck that.
Yeah.
Because when we have start creating that feeling of success, then you can start to bind something on they're not that successful on, because now they have found out they can actually push themselves.
Mm.
They can be a success. And when you start to have that feeling, things that normally seemed like a problem is now starting to be possible. Mm. And I know that for myself, because before, if I can go back to this, the problem is like we measure ourselves towards others.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, my best friend was like, he's one of those kids who start on something and he just immediately becomes good at it.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of like measure myself, I just measured myself at him. Oh, we started at the same time. It worked out for him. It didn't work out for me. That means that I cannot learn it. So I quit.
Yep.
And the thing is, so when we actually have taught people, is that the only one you're in competition with is yourself.
Yeah.
Then you will start to find out, you succeed. It doesn't matter if it takes you 10 minutes to run a kilometer, if you can do it next time or 9.
Yeah.
So like make people understand the way you retreat your goals.
Yeah.
How do you do that? And what do you measure to? Yeah. Like all those steps that you have misunderstood all the time that holds you back and make you give up. Then, and support them at the same time. Then I think we can know pretty far.
Yeah, because we discussed earlier this about environment and how we become so in fear of things, because we are not born like that. I mean, if we were, we would never try to walk like thousands times before we never give up when we are like 2, 3, 4 years old. But
giving up isn't natural. Like it's tendency to be continuous learners.
But something happens later in life, right? And you have talked a lot about environment, and I totally agree with you, because I mean we talk about teenagers missing their dads, like they have no role models. how can we find this place where they can have like role models, because that's a really big part for kids these days. They don't have anyone, like you said, they can rely on, but it's also because they don't have a role model. I mean, how can we create like teenagers that can become leaders in their youth for other teenagers? What do you think there?
I think it's making people understand that the best way you learn is by teaching others.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I mean, like when recently I had to be in the best shape of my life for a movie. So what I did is that my friend, he's a former professional, professional poker player. He's the former world champion in backgammon, and he was in a shitty shape. So, and normally people say, but you don't have time for that. But I definitely saw I had time for that because I moved in with him, and for forcing him to train, I put more pressure on myself and because I had to teach him the way, I couldn't make any skip myself. So if we can teach people, we have taught that the best way you become the best version of yourself, it's by teaching others.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I definitely think because in prison, I also saw when I studied math, for remember it better, like just to saying it loud. Because when you have to explain to people what you're doing, it's fucking difficult.
yeah,
So when you do that, so when we say to people, okay, we will teach you, but the whole idea here is that when you understand, you will teach the next one. And when he understands, you have to make him teach the next one.
Yeah.
Because in that way, I think it can work.
As an example, this has been a really shift with my daughters. I have two daughters, 6 and 9, and both of them, they love to horseback ride. And that's been such a huge shift because they're both confident. That's like the biggest area of confidence is riding a horse. They know they can do it. They know they're progressing, and they've been doing it for years. Like my youngest daughter, she's been doing it for 4.5 years. She's 6 now. So she knows she's way better than anyone who starts when they're 6, obviously. But that power that they have, they do it every week, once or a couple of times. But they have one thing in their life that they're really, really good. They have a few others also, but this is very, very special to them. And this thing that gets stacked upon that it's easier. And also when we have conversations at home about something that's hard, we can look at the riding and they can look at the struggle, because my girls, they have struggled. They've been falling off the horse, hurting themselves. They felt overwhelmed by the challenge. They felt socially excluded in the riding school, but they were willing to overcome that because they love riding. So that I really resonate with that. Like, how can we create a world where everyone finds out what they love and what they're skilled at, and how we can support them to grow their confidence? Because if you're confident in one thing, you can do it.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And this is why I say if we find everybody's strengths and do that, then it's way easier to do a parallel to the rest of the learning, and it's easier for them because now they have gone through an obstacle. Yeah.
And again, to do that, okay, so we have let's create a culture of care, because if we speak to boys and men. So if a boy has a man, if it's his father or another person, could be a woman, of course, also. But say a boy has a man, and the man cares. So he's curious. What are you good at? I want to support you with that. I might not know, but let's support and figure a way out. That's a really powerful shift. So to make that happen, we need a lot of. We need a lot of men that are really there and present. But the men are too busy, and that's what we're working with, to wake men the fuck up. Because they're lazy and they're sleeping, and we need to put them in the gym. And usually men come to us when they are making the money, they have the family, but they say like nothing really works. They lack the meaning, or the wife is she's really upset, she's really disappointed. Something like that happens. So something external happens, they get sick. Something is like there is no meaning anymore. I'm so successful, but what's the point? And that's a point of wake up. But how can we spread that, like these ideas? Because it's basic ideas. It's nothing difficult that we're talking about. But we need to make this culture shift and like stop getting the Porsche or whatever it is.
Yeah.
What's the message?
No, but I think when you find out who you are, everything else you have struggled for won't even matter.
Yeah.
And you will start to see your life will be less stressful.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can really highly recommend people to get at that stage, because you actually start to see what's really worth living for, instead of being this whole stressful situation. Because living for the other thing will just put pressure on yourself, and you will never reach any positive goal in your life.
Yeah. Get real.
Yeah.
Get real, and then like you speak about continuous optimization and improvement. Like never stop criticizing yourself. And when we meet a lot with men coming to us, they are in so much shame, so they don't want to criticize themselves, because criticism says they're not good enough. So you actually need to get over the crazy shame to be able to criticize yourself.
What we have to find out is that we have to tell people, probably the dream you have now is the wrong dream.
Mm-hmm.
We will, together with you, find the right dream for you.
Yeah.
And the dream they have is something put in their head. They don't even know why they have it.
Yeah.
Because they just look at it. This is what you do. Sometimes you ask people, but why are you doing? Why do you want kids? Because that's what you're having. It's not. I mean, for now, it's not even for everybody to have kids. Sure. And you're not doing anything bad for not having kids. There's plenty of people on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to throw more in there.
That's not solving a big problem.
And so you have to ask yourself, do I really want to have kids?
Yeah.
And it's not bad to say no.
Yeah.
It's just like, don't look at why everybody else doing that. Why? I mean, if you don't like a garden, why the fuck would you like a house?
Mm-hmm.
It's like all this element. Just take a deep breath and find out, what would I have and why would I have it?
Yeah.
Because if it's because I've always been like that, that's not a good reason.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, like, you need to have so much peace of mind that you can start to ask yourself questions instead of just doing things. Because then at one point in your life, you find out you have lived a life that was not even for you.
Wasn't your life.
Oh.
But this is so important. Like the number first priority, if you don't get where you want, if the goal is not real, is to create a life where you can think, where you can reflect, where you can ask the difficult questions. So I know you've been on a journey on awareness and self-acceptance, self-love, and I hear your wife has helped you a lot with that. So if you would, as a final thing, leave a message, not to the guy 20 years ago, but to you 2 years ago. And I mean, like, you were on a good achiever and you knew yourself already then. So what has been a big lesson that you would advise yourself just 2 years back?
I think we have to go further back.
I mean, that's the point, like, because you have learned the past 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
So what's that past 2 years where you were on a high level of awareness? What's been an important lesson since then?
I think, well, what have been the newest thing, I think, is that I'm actually getting closer and closer to the element that I'm good enough as I am. I'm not saying that I wasn't before, but to really believe it, that, I mean, right now I'm invited to places with people at very high levels, like homes for professors and stuff like that, that I have to understand that they actually invite me because I'm good enough. Mm. So, like, achieve that and really accept that I'm good enough.
Yeah. And
start really believing it. I think that actually, like, for me to 100% believe it, that must, I would say, have been the last 2 years. It's not because my wife made me feel I'm good enough, but, like, that good enough. and not have the insecurity of those things. Can it really be that I'm that smart? It sounds perhaps arrogant, but believing it yourself. That because before I have like this kind of excuse that if people talk to me that I thought was really clever or had so much power, I always found an excuse that, it must be because of that. It could not be that we were at the same level. And for me...
So what, sorry for interrupting you, but what was the shift?
I think it's just been a lot of analyzing the situation, analyzing how they have talked to me, and like been very more aware of like what does people say in situation, how do I act myself in situation. But I also think it's also about this like being better to control a situation, like man, because like as I said, is that if I have felt a situation have felt that insecure is because my insecurity have gone into them and made them insecure about the situation. But if I meet them with like a strong me, I have made a perfectly normal situation because the fear I have nothing to do with them. It's just my fear that create the room. So, and this is why I say if you go into a room and you're powerful, believing the setting, that's what it's gonna be, and that's just because it is what it is.
I see two shifts. I don't know if it's true, but I see the experience with your wife and her support of you. That sounds like the experience of being enough, kind of in some way being enough. And this other with these professors, it sound like being enough in the context of doing, in the context of achievement, in the context of building the world.
Yeah, but I mean, her have been a catalysator, kickstarting that thing and making me see. I mean, I'm putting up new goals for myself because it's just like, I mean, first she made it possible for me that I could do anything. Then when I was 48, I say I want to be in the shape of my life when I'm 50. Okay, I can do that. So I'm putting new goals all the way up for myself of new things to learn and achieve. And she have just been the kickstart of it. And I think when you are on that journey, sky's the limit because you can keep on pushing yourself further when you find out that you can actually do anything. With the right mindset.
And I like there's also a lot of humility that it's continuous journey to actually evolve this part, and also like the experience of being good enough. I go back and forth with that myself, and sometimes it's very natural and it's powerful, but it's also okay to not feel that, to actually it's a good to go towards that, but to feel I'm good enough even though I don't feel good enough.
Yeah, but I think is that. Again, if you find out that, I'm just perfect, that's a bit our arrogance, and then you'll stop working with yourself. So it's like you're good enough as a human being. You feel you're good enough, but you can always be better. And that takes a little bit of humility because, as I said, is that, of course, what you have to understand is like it's never too late to learn. And the thing is, again, with the catalysator, if you believe that, then because if you just think you're good enough, then you stop doing anything to be better. And then you will stop somewhere. But if you keep on finding out, no, I can be a better version of myself. I can even be better. How can I be better? Meet people, have a discussion, find out how do they think. Okay, what can I grab there? I can use that. That even makes me better. I can now look at the world in this and this way. And that will make me stronger. So, of course, you will never reach a level where you're perfect, and you shouldn't. But you should keep on working on yourself with humiliation, but it's okay to say you're good. But you should leave a window open to improvement.
Awesome. that's it. Thank you, Jim.
More than welcome.
So good.
Thank you.